All right, thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Faculty of Engineering's orientation program. It's a virtual orientation this year. We welcome you to this new era. My name is Dr. Nicholas McMorris. I'm the Deputy Dean for Research, Innovation, Industrial and Commercial Relations. And I'll be, for lack of a better term, your MC throughout this virtual orientation. We welcome you to this new experience, marrying both your sojourn into undergraduate education with this new paradigm of living that we're under right now because of the coronavirus pandemic. So that sort of drives us to this virtual orientation and to a virtual experience that we're going to have during this semester. I think you guys who are mostly far younger than we are suitably equipped to handle such a transition because most of you are technologically savvy. Most of you are very adept at your phones, at transmitting information over technology. And so I think you should fare well in this new environment that we are all in. Make no mistake, the faculty is very well prepared for this undertaking, and you will find out the details of such preparation through this orientation exercise. There are things I want to note about the program, if you can see it. We're allotted 3 hours, but we're going to try to go through this as quickly as possible with the assurance that you get all of the fidelity of the information. All right, students should be encouraged to post any questions that they have in the Zoom forum on the chat sidebar that the admin staff will monitor and provide responses in a timely manner. There's a section here at 120 that says meet the deputy deans and heads of programs, and there will be a cursory introduction to the deans and heads of programs, but there will be a larger breakout session next week where the heads of programs and the deans will meet with their respective cohorts in a more detailed manner. So that probably won't last 40 minutes. There are a couple websites that I'm sharing now that provide you detailed access to all things orientation. And so if you see the screen I'm sharing, you'll see it's linked to the Mona Engineering Orientation webpage. I can get a variety of information that you will need. The walkthrough video with the dean's message that will welcome you to the university. Beside there's also a PDF document that is your orientation package that has a whole lot of information that I think you should get yourselves familiar with. Important dates to online resources to financial information. So the URL is listed here and it should be part of your information package that you can access readily. You are Zoom link, I just want to guide you to that as well. Finally, before I introduce the dean, I just want to say to everyone, welcome to the University of the West Indies, welcome to the Faculty of Engineering. We're really happy to have you here, and we look forward to our continued progress and work towards your education and development as a person. All right, so with that, I'd like to welcome our Dean Faculty of Engineering, Dr. Adrian Lawrence.
All right, thank you, Dr. McMorris. Greetings, students, and welcome. On behalf of the staff and the faculty of the Faculty of Engineering at the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies, I'd like to personally welcome you to the Faculty of Engineering. You have definitely made the right decision in choosing to pursue your engineering education at the University of the West Indies, which is ranked in the top 4% of universities in the world, which makes the University of the West Indies the top-ranked university in the region. Engineering is a fascinating profession. Engineering as a career will enhance your ability to think challengingly, and one would never get bored when you pursue engineering as a career. In the course of study and work, an engineer will face challenging situations where creativity and logical ability is going to be highly required. Engineers introduce new concepts and ideas. When you drive around Jamaica, when you travel overseas, everything that you interact with at some point was designed or built by an engineer. So choosing this profession was definitely the right choice for all of you to make. And I'm very sure that you will bring your own unique personalities and approach towards engineering while you're here at the University of West Indies. So let me just talk to you a little bit about the mission of the Faculty of Engineering. And the mission is to provide you all a high quality education in engineering with an emphasis on the application via research and development in the support of Caribbean businesses, industry, and infrastructure. With graduates, when you guys graduate, staff and facilities, be at the forefront in propelling the growth, development, and innovation in the Caribbean and the wider world. So the faculty here at Mona consists of lecturers who are very experienced teachers and leading practitioners in the field of engineering. Many of us are licensed engineers in Jamaica, the wider Caribbean, and the USA. So be assured that you are definitely entering a program that will provide you with a high quality education and support during these unprecedented times. So I'm very, very sure that many of you applied to the University of the West Indies, not just for your engineering education, but also for the on-campus experience. So I just want you guys to think of this online mode of teaching as us taking all the necessary precautions to ensure that all of you, our students, and the staff here in the faculty are cared for and protected from this virus in this unprecedented pandemic time. We'll also ensure that we're going to make our online sessions as interactive and engaging and exciting as possible. Be assured that you will not miss out on anything by not being here physically on the campus in the faculty and unable to attend any of the physical classroom spaces. Again, we went through this whole online process in the last half of semester 2 of the last academic year. And so our lecturers are pretty experienced in how to navigate the online space. As Dr. McMorris mentioned, we have our own engineering platform where we're going to deliver our virtual learning experience. That session will be carried out later in the program. There are a couple of things that I want to point out to you guys, but before that, you're not here physically now, but when the time is appropriate, I look forward to meeting all of you. Of course, when most of you or all of you aspire and attain the Dean's List. I also encourage you guys to work hard to make the honor society of the faculty. Make most of these sessions today. And I just want to point out a few things to you guys that, now is the time while this session is taking place. To take out your pens, take out your notepads, whether you're going to write it on a paper or on your tablets, on your phones. Make notes on the various things that will help you navigate your time here at the University of the West Indies. With that, there's one other thing I want to point out before I move on. So we're definitely doing online teaching. The labs, a message was sent out last week where we have decided to make all of our lab and practical sessions not occur this semester because of the pandemic. We have moved them to semester 2 and the summer term, given that the conditions allow for that. It's anticipated that it should. So this semester there will be no practical sessions or labs, but we intend to deliver these sessions in semester 2 and the summer term. So beyond this orientation session, you will be having orientation sessions with the head of programs in the coming week, and that date will be advised to you, I believe, by Monday. For those level 2 or level 3 students that may be tuning in, you will also have an orientation session next week with me, the dean, leading it. And again, you'll be advised of that. Dr. McMorris mentioned briefly the orientation package that's on the website. I encourage you guys, and it was also emailed out to you guys. I encourage you guys to open the package and go through it. You'll see a message from me there. You'll also see a few pointers of what the COVID-19 protocols are of the faculty, in case you need to come onto campus for any administrative issues that need to be solved. So again, pay attention to the session. take note of the deputy deans and head of programs for the program that you're joining. I can briefly introduce them to you quickly. I see online we have Dr. Omar Thomas. He is a deputy dean for outreach. Some of you may have met him when he went to your school over the last academic year. You met Dr. Matt Morris. He's a deputy dean in charge of graduate studies, and he's also the head of program for the civil engineering program. We have Dr. Leighton Ellis. He is the deputy dean for quality to ensure that the quality of our program remains at a standard for our accreditation, which I did not mention. We're also the only university engineering program in Jamaica that is accredited by ABET. ABET is the US accrediting body for engineering programs. Our electronics program is right now accredited, and we plan to get our other programs accredited over the next year and a half. And then we have Dr. Roxanne Stennett-Brown. That's probably the deputy dean that you will interact with the most. She is the deputy dean for undergraduate matters. You will go to her most times, maybe for overrides or just general advice on programs. She, of course, will be the step after you speak with your program heads. So online, you'll see Ms. Sasha Gay Wright. She's the head of program for the Biomedical Engineering program. Also have Mr. Lyndon Falconer. He's the head of program for the electronics unit of the faculty. And currently, he's acting as the head of program for the electrical power program as well. And that will, changes there will be communicated to you guys once that person is confirmed in that role. So again, I just want to welcome you guys to the Faculty of Engineering and, make the most of it, enjoy the session. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And again, welcome. Over to you, Dr. Matmars.
All right, thanks, Adrian. Again, I'd just like to add that the Faculty of Engineering at the University of the West Indies, MONA, is the only ABET accredited engineering program in the English-speaking Caribbean. All right, so you can't get this anywhere else. It's right here, right in front of you. So take advantage of it. The dean introduced all the deputy deans and the heads of programs, of which I am one of each. The deputy dean for graduate research and the civil engineering head of programs. Key aspects that new students need to take heed of is really registration. Registration is a very important and what seems to be fairly complicated process, right? So we encourage you to get familiar with your online portal such that you can navigate that registration experience fairly seamlessly. So with that, I'm going to lead into the Deputy Dean, Dr. Roxanne Stennett-Brown's address that's going to take you from registration to graduation, tell you all the things that you need to do now, tell you all the things you are to expect in the future and what you are to expect upon graduation. So with that, Roxanne.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, a pleasant good afternoon to everyone. So I'm Dr. Stennett-Brown. I am the Deputy Dean of Teaching, Learning, and Student Matters. And as mentioned before, I'll be, meeting with a lot of you students as we go through the registration process to get you up to scratch with what we want done in the upcoming semesters. I'm also the head of program for pre-engineering. So I will just begin by looking at the program of studies that we have here at the Faculty of Engineering. So we have 4 BSc engineering programs, specialization in engineering, civil engineering, electrical power engineering, and electronics engineering. We also have our preliminary engineering program, which is a 1-year program, which serves to matriculate our students into our 3-year BSc engineering program, any one of the ones I've just mentioned before. So some of the qualifications that are necessary for entry in the pre-engineering program, which is a one-year program, you need at least 5 passes at the CXC level or 5 GCE O-level passes in which would include mathematics, English, and physics, and any other 2 subjects. Also 5 international baccalaureate passes as well. You could also qualify for the preliminary engineering program also by having a certificate or a diploma from the City of Gales Engineering Examination Program, relevant high school passes in SAT or from any international institution. Also, the China's National College Entrance Exam, GAICO, is also relevant, or passes from other countries and passes in high school mathematics and physics or other sciences through the HART diploma program in any relevant technical discipline, or you have been working in a relevant technical field for at least 4 years. For the 3-year BSc engineering program, so qualification into the biomedical, civil engineering, electronics engineering, electrical power engineering program, you would need passes in units 1 and 2 for CAPE mathematics and physics, passes in GC A levels mathematics and physics, or if you're a part of the Faculty of Science and Technology at University of West Indies, passing in both maths and physics in the the preliminary program in that faculty, or a diploma in a relevant engineering program from an approved institution. Other qualification also include diploma in an relevant engineering discipline from City and GLID, which should include passes in the advanced maths and science courses. And the list continues. And you can get more information from this if you check out our handbook from the engineering, the Faculty of Engineering handbook. Another important information that I would like to pass on to our students is that university have a number of foundation courses which we must sit before we complete our degree. And one of them is Foundation 1014, which is Critical Reading and Writing in Science and Technology. And to sit this course, you would need a grade 1 in CXC English, or grade A in GC O-level English language, or grade 1 or 2 in CAPE Communication Studies, or grade A in GC General Paper. I'm bringing this to the forefront because a number of persons might try to register for this foundation courses without these prerequisites, so you would need them. If you do not possess these prerequisites, then you will be required to sit what we call the ELPT test, which is our English Language Proficiency Test, before you can qualify to sit the Foundation 1014 course. You will have to contact the Faculty of Humanities and Education to get the time that is set to carry out this exam, after which then you'll be able to register for Found 1014. Applicants with a diploma also in a relevant engineering discipline with a minimum of a GPA of 2.5 can be eligible to matriculate into our BSc program at the level 2, but sometimes you'll be required to do some prescribed level 1 courses as well. For more information in terms of registration and completion of your BSc in engineering discipline program, students are required to not carry a course load of more than 18 credits per semester. In some special case, the student can be approved, can seek approval for the program concerned for registering for a higher load. Past prerequisites for courses, students are normally required to pass prerequisites for courses before being allowed to register for a particular course. They also need to ensure that in registering in any given semester, that priority is given to all outstanding courses, what we refer to as trailing courses at the lower level, in order for them to continue going forward. They are also required to pass all required level 1 courses before matriculation into our final year of study at level 3. I will also like to show, for example, this is for the pre-engineering course of study, and these are some of the courses that you will be required to register for. On your left, you see semester 1, and on your 2, the courses for semester 2. So as I mentioned before, students should not carry a course load of more than 18 credits per semester. So if you have applied to the university and have been accepted to the pre-engineering program, you'll be required to register for these courses in semester 1 and for semester 2. It's also encouraged, students are encouraged to complete registration for both semester 1 and semester 2 from in semester 1. So to complete your registration, that is encouraged that you register for both semester 1 and semester 2 courses. As Dr. McMorris pointed out, information can be found on the faculty website for the various programs of study, and what prerequisites are needed for your different course of study. So you can check out the website to get a lot of that information. But this is an example here for pre-engineering. For biomedical, I selected this one of our 3-year BSc program for semester 1 and semester 2. These are some of the courses that you will be required to register for. And as mentioned before, you need to check out our handbook as some of the prerequisites that is necessary to register for some of these courses. For a student to be considered as a full-time student, you need to register for at least 15 credits in one semester and a maximum of 18. So full-time students then are required to register for a minimum of 15 credits per semester and the maximum being 18, right? So a student who has satisfactorily completed courses outside of the faculty, right, they can be granted exemptions as well, up to a maximum of 36 credits towards the fulfillment of their level 1 and level 2 requirements. And as mentioned before, you can check out the handbook for further details. So at the University of West Indies, a minimum mark of 50% must be made in order to pass a course. So you must maintain an average of about 50% to be considered passing your courses here at the University of the West Indies. Other thing that you might need to note in sitting exam, if you are absent for an exam, a reminder for you to submit an acceptable medical certificate as to pertaining to the absence from the exam. And once that is submitted, then you'll be permitted to write your exam at a later date without any penalty. Also, all engineering programs require that students pass their Capstone project, and Mr. Lyndon Faulkner will speak a little about that in later part of the orientation program. But all engineering programs require that students pass their Capstone project at the first attempt in order to qualify for honors. So here at university, we use GPA, which are grade point average, right? And graduation honors will be awarded upon completion of all course requirements using the GPA scheme that is presented here. So maintaining an average or GPA average above or equal to 3.6 will qualify you for first class honor degree, and the list continues for the upper second, lower second, and a pass. If your GPA is below 2, then you'll be recorded as having failed the program, and you could be given a withdrawal letter from the University of the West Indies. All this information you can obtain also from our website and also in the the handbook for the faculty. For the determination for your GPA, right, this is basically the matrix used to map our grade system, our letter grade system to our GPA points. So you could use this guide to see or to map what GPA average or score you have. You can also check out the handbook and give a more detail on how we calculate the GPA grades. And just some important dates to note. We know that teaching begins Monday, and next week we'll have more of a meet and greet type session for the different programs that you are a part of, so you can have more information as to how we go forward for the rest of the semester. And that's it. And if there is any question, I can take it at this time.
All right, thank you, Roxanne, for that informative presentation. I hope the students that are in attendance here have garnered some useful information from that. Just to add to a couple of things that Roxanne said, well, let me start off by saying, again, welcome to engineering. We are all engineers here, as Dr. Lawrence pointed out, and accomplished at various levels and across various geographical boundaries. You guys are coming in as engineering students and with the goal of becoming engineers in the end, right? So let me just say that engineering is an apprentice discipline. It's also one of the oldest disciplines that we have had in civilization for a long time. We recognize that, when you graduate, right, there are still some additional steps to take, right? And that involves professional registration as an engineer. And so your undergraduate degree coming from an ABET accredited institution puts you on a firm foundation to then become a professional registered engineer in Jamaica. And with the ABET accreditation, it puts you on a firm foundation to become a registered engineer in the US and probably internationally as well. Engineers do a lot of projects, right? And by projects, I mean, finite pieces of work that have a beginning and an end and that have a contribution to society, whether commercially or otherwise. Having to say that, I want to introduce the idea of our capstone projects. So our capstone projects are geared at giving you an experience, a real world experience of designing a real world situation or working within a real world paradigm. And that spans across all the programs that we offer: civil engineering, electronics engineering, electrical power, biomedical. There's a capstone project at the end in the final year. And that's important because it's going to wrap and tie all the theoretical knowledge that you've gotten from your first and second years, all the math and physics that you need to have from high school, together with the practical aspects of engineering, and wrap that into a capstone project. So with that, I want to introduce Mr. Lyndon Faulkner, who's going to talk about the capstone projects and their importance that you will encounter in your final year. Lyndon? Unmute the mic, Lyndon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Montmaris. I'm going to share my screen and bring up my presentation for you to see. I trust you're all seeing my presentation. Welcome, everyone, to the University of the West Indies, the place for you to shine. It is our pleasure to have you selected this great institution for your choice of study. The Faculty of Engineering at Mona will equip you with the theoretical and practical knowledge on how to conceptualize, design, and build solutions to real-world problems. Upon graduation, you will be able to make a significant contribution to the areas of biomedical engineering, civil engineering, electronics engineering, and electrical power engineering. My task today is to give you an overview of the final year capstone project and to guide you on how to prepare for this crowning moment. What is engineering? I know all of you should be familiar with what an engineer is, who an engineer is, and what they do. Of course, engineering is the application of science and mathematics to solve real-world problems. And of course, when we speak about science, we're speaking of physics, computer science, chemistry, biology, and so on, right? So engineers, we tend to apply theoretical knowledge to solve real-world problems. So of course, scientists and innovators, they will come up with a lot of theoretical principles that they have used mathematics and other methods to prove. And it's the engineer's task to bring these theoretical principles into the real world to apply to solve a problem. So, I know when you were in primary school, you would have thought about how to design and build simple systems. You'd have thought of how to build like a kite, for example, and maybe build a cart. But of course, at that stage, you have minimal knowledge of mathematics and science. And it is good for you to have an inquisitive mind at that stage to start the development process. So when you move on to high school, you would have filled some of those gaps, those knowledge gaps. You learn more about mathematics, about science, chemistry, biology, and so on. So can do, some more advanced projects. But of course, you're still limited because there are more gaps in your knowledge. Then you move on to university. And when you move on to university, which you are now, we will carry you through that learning process. You will start from the introductory stage, whether in the preliminary engineering or level 1, where you garner most of the introductory knowledge. We will introduce you to theoretical and practical principles and how you can apply these to the real world. Then when you move to level 2, that's where you get the core knowledge of the engineering program. At level 2, you will learn more advanced theoretical principles and more practical knowledge. So you start to build small-scale solutions to real-world problems. And then on entering final year, you are now ready to do your capstone projects. The final year courses are mainly focused on applications and application courses, and also some additional core engineering courses. And these will prepare you to solve problems, to solve almost any problem within the real world. So the final year capstone project course, what is it? As I said before, it is a crowning moment. At the final year, you are now given the chance to bring your knowledge to bear on solving a given real world problem. That knowledge, of course, you have been developing from primary school, high school, and now for your first and second year at the university. So in your final year, you now can build something. Of course, the capstone project is a 1-year project. You have 2 semesters to do that project. And depending on the program that you're in, you will use the first semester to do mainly design and the second semester to do implementation. And as I said before, the project must solve a real-world problem. At the end of the capstone project, you have a number of deliverables. For the electronics engineering, electrical power, biomedical engineering, you have to present a prototype, a working prototype of a solution, a product, in a sense. That's for most projects, of course. Some projects could involve simulations, depending on how complex that project is and the expense or the cost to implement such a solution. For civil engineering, most of the projects and prototypes are simulation-based or design-based, because as you know, to design a bridge or a skyscraper or a road, it's difficult, or it's too expensive, too vast to develop as a physical prototype. You're going to, of course, present drawings, simulations. You have to do oral presentation, written presentation, right? You have to present a poster. So we're developing the student. We're creating in such a way, forming your knowledge so that you can present, you can speak about what you have done, you can write on it properly. You have to present a technical paper, right? And you have to also present a poster that you can go out into the public and introduce to someone who doesn't know about science. Who can propose a project? First, before you can present or before you're assigned a project has to be proposed. Normally, we have companies who propose projects. They may have difficulties that they want to be solved, and having engineering students at the University of the West Indies, they see us as a resource to assist them in solving problems. The companies sometimes propose projects. Lecturers also propose projects, staff members also, because when you move around, you will see problems that you'd like to solve, and that's how you get ideas on how to solve the develop projects or propose projects on. The student yourself, you can propose projects. So of course, you may have ideas of what you'd like to do based on your career goals, right? So at this moment, I encourage you to start to think about projects that you'd like to work on. So you can formulate those projects throughout your first and second year. And then in the final year, you can propose them as your capstone project. Or any member of the society can propose a project. Typically, in the development process for your capstone project, we normally have a structured approach to doing that. And it is important that you use a structured approach, because typically when someone has a problem, they will come to you as an engineer and outline the problem to you. And then that's where the concept is. The concept is now formulated, and then you need to shape that concept to create requirements. You're tweaking that concept so you can create a project to develop a solutions. Because to all problems and all engineering solutions, there are limitations, right? You're going to use electronic components, or you're going to use a different type of materials. Of course, you have limitation based on temperature, based on the vibration, the strength of the material, and so on. So you have to shape that concept to develop the requirements, and then you start the design process. So of course, we'll carry you through these steps to do the development, the testing, the verification, installation, maintenance, and so on. So here are some examples of some civil engineering projects that have been done throughout the years. This is the concept of a monorail system for Kingston and St. Andrew urban area, because of course, with traffic congestion in Kingston, and it takes a long time to move from point A to point B. Even if the distance is 1 mile, it might take an hour, depending on the time of day, right? So if we can have a monorail system, then this system will solve a lot of the congestion problem, allow for quick movement within a congested city, right? So students conceptualize this problem, develop a solution, and design a solution, and propose a solution that can be implemented to solve the problem within Kingston and its environment. And of course, Kingston City is one example. It could be any city within the Caribbean or within the world. Another example is a proposal of a mini stadium at the University of the West Indies. Yeah, at the University of the West Indies, we have different green areas that we use for social events and for sports events, right? But of course, we can improve these areas by producing a mini stadium that will allow the seating of disabled people, of able people, and we can also rent these venues to the public, to bring in revenue for the universities. So students work on a design and propose a project that, if implemented, will help to improve the facilities at the University of the West Indies. Other civil engineering projects include the choice of wave energy device and foundation design, US Student Union redevelopment, foundation design report for Mona Visitors Lodge redevelopment, and so on. So there are a number of projects, of course, that students have worked on throughout the years. I have some examples here of electronics engineering projects. One example that was just completed is the design of a vehicle pass mobile application using near-field communication and Internet of Things technology. This solution will replace the physical pass that is normally given at the entrance to a premises. So normally in Jamaica and in some other country, when a vehicle enters a premises, the security guard would give the driver a card, and this card would would be used as a secure device, so that if someone steals the car and they're trying to exit, they need to present this card. But the problem with such a system is that you have to exchange cards from hand to hand, and especially in this time of the pandemic, you don't want to do so. This electronic system will remove that interaction, that physical interaction, and allow you to use wireless technology, whether using your phone or an electronic device. So the students have gone through the design process and the implementation and present a working solution. We have another example project here, and this is a low-cost patient monitoring system. Of course, you know, when the doctor is treating patients or multiple patients at a hospital, they need to monitor vital signs of the patient to ensure that the patient is okay. And because of limitation and a number of staff, it's not possible to physically monitor a patient. So a low-cost patient monitoring system replaces the human being by automatically monitoring the vital signs of the patient. And then it sends these information to a central monitoring system where alarm can be sent out to doctors on duty or the nurses, so they know that something is wrong and they can respond immediately. The student shown here implemented the system, demonstrated the system, and she got a good grade for that project. We have another example project here where the student developed an eye tracking, augmentative and alternative communication system. And this type of system is useful for someone who is physically impaired, someone who cannot move their arm or their leg, right? And they would like to type on a computer screen. And that person assumed they can move their eyes around. So this student developed a system that uses image tracking technology to track the pupil in the eye, and in doing so, it moves the cursor on different letters on the screen, and it's the keyboard on the computer screen, and then the user can simply press a button to select the letter that they want to type. The student implemented this, and it worked for the most part. Other projects include autonomous quadcopters and different projects that students have designed in the electronics engineering program. For the electrical power engineering program, we have example projects of a centralized energy monitoring system where students develop a system that monitors the energy usage of different appliances within a building, and it reports all of that information to a central server. So you can now see the energy usage of appliance within a building. You can conduct energy audit automatically, and you can see which equipment is using the most energy, and so on. Other projects students have done during last semester is a project to improve UE power grid. So the students simulated the UE grid and to find out weaknesses on the grid and make recommendations on how to improve the grid and how to introduce automatic monitoring of the grid, so to enhance its efficiency and reduce the cost of operation. Another student worked on a solar PV system implementation and monitoring system. This system, the student implemented solar PV on the roof, as is shown here. They developed the electronics, and they now implemented a prototype system which has a charge controller, has an inverter, it has loads and that they put on it, and they develop a monitoring system that measures the current, the sun intensity, the voltage. So this project allows for the monitoring of such a system. So the final year capstone projects, the students have worked wonders throughout the years. And these are some pictures of some projects that have gone throughout the years. And this here you're seeing here is a poster presentation, right? This is a student that was demonstrating this project and so on. So we have done a lot of projects, and this is the opportunity that you will get to build something that you have really wanted to do. Our capstone projects are doing well internationally. In the IEEE Southeastern Conference in 2017, one of our students won the best paper, technical paper for his project, and he got an award for it. He implemented a low-cost wireless patient monitoring system in that project. So I am giving you some quick tips on how to prepare for the capstone project. And this is very important, students. I want you to listen to this carefully. First tip, When you learn a new theoretical principle, you need to try and relate that principle to the real world. You try to see how does this principle apply to the real world. Also, if you're working in a group project, you need to try and understand the entire project. Don't just focus on your task only. You also need to work hard for students. All the students will be doing programming in C, and especially for electronics, biomedical, electrical power students, work hard to understand how to program in C programming language. With that, you will learn, it will follow naturally for you to learn any other programming language. You need to put in the hard work in your labs and projects. Don't just copy another student's work. You need to try and understand all the labs and projects. For the biomed student, electronics, electrical student, you need to learn how to troubleshoot hardware and software problems. Don't try and seek help as a problem arises. You need to try and solve it on your own, right? Very important. And always document your labs and project in a clear and concise manner. So now is the time. You've started the process to gain new knowledge. You started the process to change the world. So I welcome you again to the University of the West Indies. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Lyndon, for that very informative foray into what students should expect for their capstone projects. Yeah, you know, you guys need to get aware of that. Now, we're going to have a slight change in the presentation format. We're going to have our Deputy Dean, Dr. Omar Thomas, for outreach, come and give a few words. So, Omar.
Thank you, Dr. McMorris. So let me just see if I can do this. Okay, so my name is Dr. Omar Thomas. I'm Deputy Dean for Outreach, Internationalization, and Marketing. Just briefly, our roles include some of these activities: student recruitment, we traditionally involve school visit, campus tours. With the COVID scenario, we'll have to change how we do this. But to assist in our student recruitment, I am asking all our new students and current students who have not yet filled out a survey that has been sent to you to do so. This will help us to analyze the best way going forward in terms of recruiting students. We liaise with student organization for student activities. We also liaise with our international partners, whether it's scholarships or for research. And we also try to make students aware of scholarships that are available. We also, as a team, will be looking more on social media in the upcoming academic year. So we'll be assisting in the management of the faculty's social media pages. So I want to just let you know of some scholarships out there. There's the MST Vet Scholarship and the JAM-VAT Scholarship. The deadline for these have passed, but I still encourage persons to inquire at the Ministry of Education, particularly for the JAM-VAT Scholarship. Because sometimes these scholarships are undersubscribed and there are still vacancy after the pass date. All right, and the web page is there. There's also the New Fortress Energy Scholarships and a number of other scholarships that are offered through the Office of Student Financing at UWI. So you want to make sure you check their website as well. There's a Jamaica Flour Mills Scholarship, which you have to check the Jamaica Flour Mills website. And we all know about Student Loans Bureau, all right, in terms of student loans. So I want persons to plan ahead. You may have secured funding for this semester or next semester, but plan ahead what you're going to do for the following 2 or 3 years. So on behalf of the Outreach and Internationalization and Marketing team, I welcome the new and returning students, and we will work with you in achieving your future career goals, whether you want to further studies again, but in everything, excellence. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Omar. And in just keeping on with our slight change in program, we're going to welcome Miss Sasha Gay-Wright to give us an introduction here.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to all new students of the Faculty of Engineering. Thank you, Dr. Morris. As he mentioned, I'm the head of program for biomedical engineering, and I just wanted to quickly, give you a little presentation. It won't last for a long time because I know not all students here are biomedical engineering students, but just to give you an overview of what it's like to really be a part of it, be a part of this program and what to expect. Now, as you can imagine, biomedical engineering is a fusion between biology and medicine and the engineering discipline. We, monitor different patients and different ailments that they may have. We help to restore functions for different patients and also to enhance normal body functions. For applications, there are several, a few which I'll list here, like bioinstrumentations and biosensors. So the idea is for you to get to learn how to use machines that have interface with the body. We want you to be able to operate these machines, troubleshoot these machines, build these machines. And I have here listed a biosensor, and pretty much a biosensor is anything that is a machine that has interaction, not just with the medical industry, but with agriculture, the environment, and food. But more specifically, we're going to be looking at the medical areas. All right. There's also diagnostics and imaging. So you're going to be learning about how these different diagnostic machines work. From the very first year, you'll be able to build simple devices that monitor different body functions, right? There's also imaging, so you learn the basis of imaging. You learn of all these new machines and different equipment that deal with imaging as well. We also look at assistive technology. So for persons who have lost a limb, etc., how could we build something that helps them? And, it's not just learning. Students are actually actively participating in these activities. So I have a short, 30-minute clip here, and this is our first-year students who helped to build these devices for different patients. Again, these students, this was last year, and they were in first year when they helped to build these technologies.
Great.
So yes, pretty much what you just saw was real life patients with real life situations and problems that our students helped to build assistive technology for that benefited these persons. You also, hopefully, given this environment, we may be able to attend a conference or two online, but last year we got the opportunity to attend the Medical Link Biomedical Conference at the AC Hotel, and pretty much it got the students to meet several persons in the industry, in the field, got to see the different advancements and the different technology in the area, and it was pretty much a good time. So ideally, coming in this environment, you may not be able to go, like I mentioned before, but again, there are several of these conferences are going online, so we'll try as best as we can to get you involved in these conferences. I have also listed here the courses that you should register for first semester at level 1. I've also included my email address. I really ask that you make a note of that. So in the event that you have any questions, any concerns, any issues, you can contact me directly. Like Dr. Stanith Brown said, we do recommend that you register for both levels, but when you meet with me in the personalized sessions, then I will go through all the different courses there. As you can note here, you won't have courses with me this semester, but again, I'm available to help you with whatever issues or concerns that you may have. So thank you very much. And I look forward to meeting all of you. I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Sasha, for that lovely introduction to the biomedical engineering stream of programs that we offer. I'm going to now introduce Dr. Leighton Ellis, who is our Deputy Dean for Quality Assurance, and he'll be able to talk to you about aspects of quality assurance that the program is guaranteed and how we continually strive towards accreditation. Dr. Ellis.
Afternoon, everyone, students. Welcome to the Faculty of Engineering, as was said before. My role, as highlighted regards to quality assurance, deals with the quality assurance and quality control systems that are needed to ensure that you get the quality degree that you expect and that you're paying for. It comes in various fashions. So we have to ensure that the teaching quality is up to the required standard. It meets the high standard that is set by the accrediting body, which is international, as was stated by the dean, so that at the end of the day, your degree is not just marketable here, but also internationally. It also, having an accredited degree also aids in getting registration for engineering locally and on the international market as well. So there are a number of approaches that you will have to participate in as students. One being, you will pick a class rep from each course, at least 1 or 2 students, and they will sit on what's called a staff student liaison committee. So we'll have representations from each level of each program where you'll combine and you'll be able to sit and you will speak with us about challenges that you're experiencing, be it the teaching quality, be it the issues now, sadly, with the online platform versus face-to-face, or in the near future when we do go back to face-to-face, all being well, then you will be able to speak to that. You'll also be able to speak to the level of assessment, the challenges you're experiencing there as well, and we will strive to either correct where there may be misconceptions as to what the expectations are, or to make adjustments based on the feedback that you're provided for us. So your feedback is very, very essential. So that's one avenue in which you provide feedback. The other avenue in which you provide feedback is at the end of the semester, where you'll get an email from the university itself, and that's for the student evaluation of the course. And so you'll speak to that, and we're imploring all students to be engaged in that aspect, because that's one of the main avenues you have to bring about the change that's needed in the various courses. We take these feedbacks very seriously. We use them to influence how we improve our teaching, how we improve even our work environment and the space in which we operate. We have sent out surveys before, even for some of you would have been participants of that. We have about 160 responses. And from there, we're already getting some ideas as to challenges that you're expressing. And we're putting systems in place even before we start to try and address some of those issues as well. So our role, again, will be for that student feedback or the staff student liaison. That happens twice every semester. So that class rep, it's not too demanding of your time. The meetings are typically held on a Thursday. And on the normal settings, your Thursdays are half day. So you go up to maybe teaching around 12 or 1 o'clock for the latest. And the rest of the afternoon is supposed to be used for your club meetings or further studies or whatsoever you choose to do. That's definitely your right as a student. But typically we hope that you'd engage with some of the clubs so you could learn more about your programs, meet more with your seniors, and be able to engage and become more of a rounded student. Now, again, we're very sad to note that you are not able to be on campus at this point in time, at least in its holistic level, to get that full experience of which you may have thought you'd have been provided when applying originally. But we will strive to ensure that as far as is possible, we can give you as much of that experience as we possibly can. We also want to ensure that the staff are fully au fait with the use of the various programs that we're going to be using. Our main avenue from teaching would be the use of Zoom. And I think Mr. Anderson will talk to us more about that and how you need to approach that. But that's the main platform we're going to be using. And so the hope is that you'll see some similar level of interactions using that platform as you would get if you were face-to-face. It will never be the exactly same, but it will be as close as we could make it for the experience that you would have here at the university. All right, so that's the main role that we have here at Quality. So again, your voices are very, very important. Any challenges you have, feel free to contact us. Start, of course, with your direct course lecturer or instructor. If you're not getting any resolution there, then you could bump it up a bit to your program head. If not, then you take it up to the deputy dean level, and then we could carry it to the dean level. But don't strive to go all the way to the top. So start first where the challenge is, see if it could be resolved there. And if not, then you can keep climbing up the ladder as you go. But the goal is to try and always resolve these issues internally before we have to take them externally as far as possible. All right. So thank you all for listening, and I hand back over to Dr. Matt Morris.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ellis, for that on quality. Yeah, let me just say that we want you to strive to get to the top in schoolwork, but not at the top up in pursuing issues just yet. There's a hierarchy for that. So with that, we're going to get into some of the more technical parts of orientation where, you know, Mr. Niall Anderson, who is a guild representative and the president of the Mona Engineering Society, is going to just give you a few tips, tricks, and hacks that can help ease your way into your undergraduate experience here at UA Mona. So, Mr. Anderson.
All right, hello, good afternoon. Is my audio clear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, excellent. So once more, Dean Lawrence, Deputy Deans, lecturers, and the staff that made this all possible. And of course, most importantly, to our new students, good afternoon. Now, my fellow students to be, it is a great honor that I, Niall Anderson, stand before you on behalf of the Mona Engineering Society, or well, more so sit in a manner of speaking, to say welcome. It is an absolute honor. Now, to be totally honest, would have never imagined that a few months ago that right now this is how we would meet through Zoom. But things have taken an unfortunate turn of late, and we have to adapt accordingly. Now, many of the activities that our committee had initially planned for you, they won't necessarily happen as how we had previously desired, but we have to press on, because even though COVID mashed up the life, we have to make it big to fulfill the promises. We guarantee that. And so we remain hopeful. I, for one, maintain the same hope that I had when I was afforded the opportunity to speak before several of our country's policymakers, and I implored them that they should never stop or reduce their investment in STEM. As a matter of fact, there is still definitely a need for increased investment into our sector. Now, we hope to see an age where students are not struggling to pay their school fees or even deterred from pursuing their engineering dream in the first place because of the lofty school fees. Now, and also hope to see increased funding for research opportunities in engineering. We need the investment. We absolutely need it. And I must say that if there was any time for that argument to be validated, the time is now. Because yes, we are approaching what I will term to be the climax of the fourth industrial revolution, the age of advanced building materials, autonomous vehicles, and machines, as well as the infrastructure that we will need to accommodate such. And at this rate, in less than a decade, the things of the future will be now. And we, students of engineering right now, will be a part of that. Now, also, sorry. Also, COVID has shown us how quickly things can change for society. And as covered in a Gleaner article the other day, it has demonstrated just the big role that engineers play in equipping our society for sudden changes. Kudos to those students that took part in that interview the other day. Now, we need this investment. And until things are as they should be, we have a product to market. In order to persuade them to invest, we ourselves have to invest in this product. This investment is obviously not a monetary one, because though the spirit is willing, the pocket is weak. And there are a few things that we, the students of engineering, can invest. Students of engineering can invest active participation in our education. Simply put, you are here to read for your degree, you. And the minute you start depending entirely on what is done in a class or a lecture slide, for the tools that you will need for your career in engineering is the minute you have gone down a very dark path. We have a right to a quality academic experience from our lecturers, we do. But at the same time, we have a responsibility to ensure we complement this academic experience with our own independent work. Accountability goes both ways. And on that same note, when you're in classes, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to attempt to answer a question. This is your experience. This is your academic experience. Be an active part of it. Use up your office and tutorial sessions when you are in need of clarification. Also, seek feedback and give feedback. If you're having an issue with a class, feel free to express so. Many lecturers do not actually have a problem with this. And if you were to read the AAA strategy that has been proposed by the university for improvement over the next, I think, 5 years, you realize that one of the biggest tenets of it is student-centeredness. They should be here to listen to you, your lecturers, and as well as the other admin of this faculty. So don't ever be afraid to let your voice be heard. Here's another thing that we can invest. We can invest our time and energy into the right things. You've heard several times that priority or prioritization is key. It's a bit cliche, but still very much true. You have to choose. You can't attempt to do all things or you will burn out. And at the end of the day, when you burn out, that degree is not going to collect itself up on that stage. So you have to be very careful. And now, in a time especially like this, where we are going to be working from home, we can imagine that a lot of students face many more stresses than they would have faced before. I hope the lecturers are listening to that part as well and have consideration that we're going to have to be exercising a bit more empathy from here on in. But you'll face more stresses. So you're going to have to make a more active effort towards maintaining your mental health. Find something that you enjoy. Make time for rest. Take a break sometimes. And of course, your physical health has a direct implication on your mental health. So drink water. Find a mode of exercise. Eat right. Find your rhythm. The next thing we can invest is collaboration. Teamwork makes the dream work. No one is an island. You've heard that several times, and that is very much true. Especially when you're out there in the field of engineering, you'll find you'll be working on multidisciplinary teams or teams overall. You're going to have to learn to become a team player. And here, the time is now that you can start practicing such. Feel free to talk to your seniors, talk to your fellow classmates, form study groups. Even though we are not physically here, we do still have platforms over which we can form study groups. We can use Zoom. I've even seen someone use an Instagram live for a study session. So that is not an excuse right now as to why we can't work together to achieve this common goal that we have of graduating this university with a first-class honors, I hope. Then, the last thing that you can invest is belief. Invest belief that you are enrolled in one of the best programs that we have to offer in this entire Caribbean. Invest belief in yourself, that you are the one that made it into this program. You are a whole star, and you have the ability to get through this program at the top of your class or whatever, to the best of your ability. You can have success. Invest belief in yourself. So now, hopefully, as I speak, I'm looking at a set manner of speaking because I'm not actually looking at you, that will create solutions, that will enhance society, and that will allow it to sustain growth. We are the Mono Engineering Society. Create, enhance, sustain. Thank you. And let me just quickly introduce you to the rest of my committee, as they won't necessarily have a platform to do so immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and share a presentation, and you see the rest of my wonderful committee. How do I go about this? All right, so you guys should be seeing my screen. All right, so the Mono Engineering Society. So of course the president, Nyla Listen, my vice president of external affairs, Mr. Donoy Hartley, vice president of internal affairs, Ms. Ashley McPherson, and my EAC, Ms. Rihanna Murray. External Affairs Chairperson, to be clear. My Cultural and Entertainment Affairs Chairperson, Mr. Elvis Ovara Francis. And Secretary, Ms. Kyle Clark. CAC, the next is Alexandra Mary. The PRO, Ms. Alia Wilson. The PCC, Mr. Kyle Billings. The female GCC, Games Committee Chairperson, Deandra Holness. The Treasurer, Ms. Jardine Fraser. The male Games Committee Chairperson, Mr. Okino Donaldson. The Electronics Representative, Ms. Jadi Prasad. The Biomedical Representative, Ms. Callista Wollaston. And then the Civil Discipline Representative, Ms. Ariana Martin, forms the main executive, and would also like to send a shout out to some of our other workers on the committee so far. Mr. Kimani Anderson, the Deputy Rep for Biomedical Engineering. Ms. Aisha Hewitt, the third year Biomedical Class Representative. Mr. Nicholas Dean, the Electronics Discipline Representative Deputy. And of course, some other members that some haven't had a picture yet. Ms. Ebony Smith, the Deputy PCC, Graphics Designer Jose Anderson, Creative Advisor Shamar Suarez, and second year Acting Class Representative Mr. Martin Bailey. And we are looking forward to seeing some of you on the team as we proceed into the school year. And with that, I do wish you all a wonderful day. I hope I was not too long. Blessings all. Looking forward to hearing more from you. Please follow Mona Engineering Society on Instagram for more updates from your student body. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Anderson. Right, so the preview that we got to the coronavirus pandemic and how it affects our university experience last semester, at the end of last semester, it gave us a good insight into student-centered issues. So a lot of the accommodations that Mr. Anderson, alluded to, are built into our efforts here this year. We understand that students can be fatigued. We understand that students can have issues with connectivity. And, we have made several efforts to alleviate those measures, and our staff are fully aware of them. However, having said all of that, we do always welcome feedback from the student body. So we encourage you to follow Mr. Anderson's advice and provide us with timely feedback about issues in the way that Dr. Ellis suggested you approach the hierarchy. So with that, one last thing is that I guess this new horizon, in a way, repositions some of the responsibilities with learning. We will expect students to provide, be more outgoing, be more initiative driven for their education experience, as well as we will be accommodating all such initiatives. Right, so with that, I want to welcome Ms. Sharon Williams-Brown, who's going to give us a presentation she's from the University Health Center, and she's our senior counselor there. When students have medical issues, issues dealing with stress, life issues, you can contact the University Health Center, and they can provide services that can assist you. If you ever have to miss an exam or a particular period of school for a medical reason, you will need a medical certificate that will be garnered from the health services. So with that, Mrs. Sharon Williams-Brown.
Thank you, Dr. Matt Morris. And good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be able to take part in this welcome and orientation for the new students in the Faculty of Engineering. I would just also like to introduce one of my colleagues, Mrs. Tamaya Wilson, and she is sharing in this presentation also by her presence, and will add anything that I might forget. All right? I wish to start, though, by adding my own words of welcome to those of you beginning your UE journey at this unforgettable time in history. You're coming to UE at a time of challenge and change, so your experiences will be different in several ways from the routines that your friends went through last year. They'll be able to help you with some things, but maybe not with everything. And I was very impressed by what your guild rep, your rep for Mona Engineering Society said. A lot of good advice in that. One thing that will be the same though is the need to look after your health while you're a student. And health has several dimensions, such as emotional, occupational, physical, social, intellectual, and spiritual. But this presentation is going to focus on physical and emotional health. I'm going to attempt to do the screen sharing thing, and let's see if we can bring up and put this in slideshow mode. I think it's going to do that for me, hopefully. Right, so we want to talk about staying healthy at UWI, especially during a pandemic. And just to point out that the World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, which is an interesting definition to think about in this time of COVID-19. The state our health is in depends a lot on our actions. So as we said here, keeping healthy is your responsibility. And COVID-19 has reminded us how even small actions on our part can have a significant impact on our health. So as you all know, simple acts like wearing masks and maintaining consistent, can I underline consistent, social distance, reduce our chances of getting the coronavirus. So especially in this time, you need to take your responsibility seriously, both for yourself and for others around you. The University Health Center, however, will partner with the campus community to achieve optimal health by educating you about health matters and by providing care when a community member becomes ill. The University Health Center provides several resources for looking after your health. We obviously have our medical resources, our doctors, and a fully stocked pharmacy is also available. Our counselors and a psychiatrist is part of our team. Our public health, think immunizations, dental, and we also have a part-time nutritionist. Optical services are not offered, but referrals can be made. Health Center, 11 Gibraltar Campway, for those of you who know the campus, we're on that road, Post Office Road up to Irvin, closer to the Irvin side. You may want to make a note. I have phone numbers on this for the health center, and you may want to take those numbers, and also for the counseling service, you may want to take those numbers. Our usual hours have been 8:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Mondays to Fridays and Saturday mornings. But those hours are going to vary during this pandemic. Currently, it's 8:30 and we close at 3, and there are no Saturday hours. When that changes, you will be informed via email. Please remember to check your UE emails. I'm sure you've had that plea already, but students I know often don't do that. We're also advising students to call to speak with a doctor or to set an appointment rather than just walking in. We have a walk-in service, which really should always have been for serious issues, but now that's really being reserved for emergency issues. So try to call ahead of time for routine matters, to set an appointment, or to speak with the doctor on the phone. The counseling service is operating by telehealth, and I'll say a little bit more about that shortly. You have a health insurance. I know the cards have not yet, were not yet ready on my last check, but they should hopefully be available very soon. And you will need to, if you're seeing us, bring both your Sagicor health card and your ID card for each visit, or if you have to actually come in to the health center. Your acceptance letter will work in lieu of the ID card if you have not yet gotten that. Quick word, medication and doctor's visits and some tests are covered through your health insurance, as well as hospitalization should that be necessary. But for medication, there's an initial limit of $6,000. There's no copay with that $6,000, but then there's a co-payment of usually 20% for medication thereafter. And there is a copay for the tests and the doctor's visits. The health insurance will cover visits both to the health center and to other medical providers, which is different than it was up to last year. But due to very efficient negotiation by the Guild, that has been opened up so you can see any provider through the Sagicor network. One of the things to just point out though is that the doctor's visit, the insurance only covers $350. So the copay when you see a private doctor could be quite large. However, there is no copay if you are able to see the health center doctor. Pharmaceuticals, whether purchased from us or from another pharmacy, are treated in the same way. Now, your dean referred to the matter of medical certificates for exams. So this is a critical slide. Health problems affecting exams are best seen, if possible, in the health center. Obviously, if you're in Montego Bay or St. Elizabeth, you're going to go see your own doctor. But if you happen to be on the campus, then it makes sense to do that because the doctor here can quickly expedite the excuses. However, if there's an emergency, and I really should have added also if you are not on the campus, okay, so all of those of you who are doing online only, the student can see his or her private doctor, and your doctor will need to fill in a UE medical certificate, and very important, that medical certificate should be submitted to the clinical director at the health center, not to the faculty office or other administrative office. Why is that? Because that form asks for actual details or information about your illness, and really that sort of information should just be sent doctor to doctor. All right? So medical certificates come to the health center if you are ill and it affects an exam or an important assignment that needs to be handed in. The section I'm part of, the counseling services, offers one-on-one sessions, and we examine issues, arrange any personal or academic concerns. Academic not in the sense of your coursework, but in the sense of things like procrastination, managing your time, anxiety, things which impact your academic performance. Relationship issues get in the way for some people, anxiety, depression. I want to stress that it's a confidential service. We are not allowed to give information even to your faculty, even to your mother or father, without your written permission to do so. All right, so anything that is said here stays here unless you give us written permission to do otherwise. Staff, there are 4 of us as full-time psychologists and also a psychiatrist. During the pandemic, telehealth, which means video conferencing and telephone, and those appointments are between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Please note our numbers and our email, and that's the number you call or contact if you want to make any queries about service or you want to set up an appointment. Another important number at the bottom of the screen is our UE Helps number. It's a WhatsApp, text, and telephone line, and you get a response within 24 hours, usually much less than that. But I make that point because we have one person staffing that phone, and therefore the counselor who has it does need to sleep, etc. And so when you send a message in, you may not get a response immediately, but then again, you could. However, you will get a response within that 24-hour period. Just a quick note, the counseling service also at this point carries this portfolio for sexual harassment advising through our head of unit, Dr. Debbie Ann Chambers. And so we encourage people that if there's ever any situation where you feel that you are or have been in some way sexually harassed, then you can make a report, have a discussion with our sexual harassment advisors, because this is not tolerated by the university. And actions can range anywhere from mediation off the record to official hearings. Quick note on our peer support providers. Those are a group of students who are available to help others by listening supportively and referring as needed, who can even do workshops for your Mona Engineering Society. So if you're interested in being a PSP, that same email, council@uemona.edu.jm during this month, and we will give you more information about that program. So I end by saying best wishes for a successful year and hoping that despite the challenges, each of you will show the resilience that we know is in you to have gotten you this far, and that you will indeed have a good year during your first year here at Mona. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sharon Williams-Brown, for that wonderful insight into student health, which is very important for digesting knowledge and producing good results, right? So I hope you guys took heed of what she said. I alluded earlier to a rebalancing of, student responsibilities. And, most of you are coming from high school, not all of you. And we want to sort of initially guide you away from your first resource for information being YouTube or Google, right? That may have worked well in high school, but now that you're in university in an engineering program, we don't want to encourage that to be your first point of checking something. So I say that to lead into Miss Yolanda Tugwell, who is going to information about how you can interact with the library resources that we have on offer. And several books that are available online and several other online resources. So Miss Yolanda Tugwell, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, students. I am happy to be a part of your orientation exercise this evening, and just want to welcome you to the University of the West Indies, your place to shine. And I am Yolanda Tugwell, as was pointed out. I'll be the liaison librarian for the Faculty of Engineering. I'm going to ask that a video be played at this time.
Welcome to your UE Mona Library. Pop in online or in person and explore the possibilities that await you. The UE Mona Library is comprised of 5 branches. 4 are accessible from the Mona campus, while the 5th is accessible from the Western Jamaica campus. 3 of the libraries are named according to the specific programs to which they offer support. The WJC Library provides support to courses offered on that campus, while the main library's collection focuses primarily on the humanities and social sciences. Branch opening hours vary. All branches during regular operations offer extended opening hours and weekend access as well. However, opening hours are now impacted by the pandemic, and as such, students are asked to visit the library's website and social media pages for updates. The good news is that our virtual doors are always open. We provide access on time, anywhere, to our online resources via our website. To access our databases remotely, students must log in using the same username and password that is used for our BLE. Access print and online resources by using UELink, the library's online portal. UELink allows you to browse our catalog to see available resources and their formats, print or electronic. It also provides a gateway to over 40 online databases that provide reliable, current information to support your research. Our most popularly used databases are Academic Search Ultimate and ProQuest. These are multidisciplinary databases with interfaces that provide students with several useful features. The Mona Library supports our users on multiple online platforms with general information, research and citation assistance, video tutorials on a range of subject matters to help ensure your success, virtual tours, etc. We offer several options for students to access research help, including a live chat option available from our website. Students will also be able to access recorded or live social media sessions designed to assist first-year students with research through our Halls of Residence librarian program. In preparation for your exams, Let the library give you a helping hand. We offer examination past papers that you can access by entering the course code into UWeLink. There are multiple ways to contact us. You can call us, email us, use our online chat, or send us a direct message. We have several resources to help you succeed, and we are looking forward to hearing from you.
I am just going to talk about some of the things that came up in the video, and is my PowerPoint moving? Okay, so as was pointed out, we have 5 libraries at the University of the West Indies, and your library will be the Science and Engineering branch library. That library will support you throughout your university journey. You have access to all 5 libraries using your ID, but that library will be your space. And you would have resources related to your discipline available at the Science and Engineering branch library, which is located in the Faculty of Science and Technology. So this is what our spaces looked like before, and now this is where we're moving. We have done some work in terms of having social distancing available to you now. Our virtual spaces include us being online at www.mona.ue.edu.library. And you will notice some of our services that are available for you while you go and visit that page. In addition, UWeLink, and you will hear a lot about UWeLink throughout your university life, because UWeLink is the library's information connection. It's the library's information portal that gives access to the resources online and what we do have within our collection. So we also give access to subscription-based scholarly journals, ebooks, citation guides, examination past papers, as was pointed out. Some of the electronic databases that you will come across will be IEEE, which is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer database that we have access to. ACM, which is Association for Computing Machinery Digital Library. EBSCO and ProQuest databases, they are multidisciplinary and will serve you throughout different disciplines, especially as you navigate your university life and you're asked to do the Foundation 1014 course. These multidisciplinary databases, EBSCO, ProQuest, Credo Reference will serve as very good databases for you to get resources needed. They will provide access to scholarly journal articles, peer-reviewed resources that will help you with your academic research. We also have ebooks, and this is particularly important at this time as we operate in an online mode. You will notice that our ebooks are provided by different vendors, Wiley being one of them. We have EBSCO hosts. And some of the books that are there as it relates to engineering include the Introduction to Biomedical Engineering, Basics of Precision Engineering, among others that you can find using UWeLink. At present, we have UWeLink sessions, which will be available to you next week. From September 7th to September 12th, we invite you to register on our website. Those will be available from Monday to Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, and Tuesday and Thursday between 6 to 7 p.m. And we'll have a session on Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So we invite you to register for those so that we're able to show you how best to find these resources that will be important for your university life and for helping you to have excellent assignments. So we are everywhere. We're available on social media, through Instagram at UWeMona Library. Also the same tagline, hashtag at, on Facebook. Twitter handle is also UWI-MONA HRL. We invite you to come with us for exciting game show this evening on Fantastic Fridays. We'll be on IG Live this evening, and you are able to win prizes and surprises through IG on at Fantastic 93 FM. Also available live on News Talk 93 FM. Our guidelines, we have new guidelines now as it relates to accessing our libraries during this COVID period. You will be required to wear a mask, you will be required to sanitize as you get in, and you will have to social distance. We're asking you not to share your stationery and equipment as you come in, and we are asking you not to reshelve books when you do come in. No gathering, and you must observe all signage. So we have decals posted all over the libraries, and you're invited to make sure that you follow the rules and regulations that have been put in for your safety and for the safety of others. Welcome to your library, and my email address is available there. You can contact us. We are also available through the Ask the Librarian icon, which is present in your learning management system and also available on the library's page. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Tugwell. If anyone has any questions for Ms. Tugwell, feel free. Okay, so, you know, assuming that you guys are very proactive and you use the library a lot and you follow Dr. Ellis's advice and you follow Dr. Lawrence's advice, do well in my course, because if you don't do well in my course, well, you know, then you may do really well at the university here, end up with a first class honors and be like one of, I would say about 90% of our students who go on to have proactive employment in the industry, right? So part of the services that we offer here at the university is to also help you get placed after you complete your degree. And we also have several programs during your duration here that you may do in the summer or even during the semester should your course load allow. So with that, I'm going to introduce Dr. Anne-Marie Williams. She's from the Student Services. She's a Student Services and Development Manager from the Placement and Career Services. She's going to give you some information about our Placement and Career Services.
I'm so excited that you have chosen the University of the West Indies, MONA, as your partner to the realization of your career dreams. I congratulate you on reaching this significant milestone on your career journey. As you continue on this journey, you can either choose to take the bumpy path alone, or let us help you to navigate your way. The team at the Office of Placement and Career Services is ready to provide you with a roadmap to wherever your career trajectories take you. We have modified our services to meet your needs remotely. COVID has forced us to ensure that we have not left anyone behind. And so we want you to experience self-discovery through our online career assessment and counseling services. We want you to build your employability skills and competitive advantage with our virtual career seminars. We want you to launch your businesses as entrepreneurs or to seek recruitment through our networking opportunities. Assisting us to share and to serve you better are our trained peer career advisors. They understand you because they are students like you, and they can help you to negotiate the roadblocks that are ahead. The following video will give you a brief synopsis of how placement and career services can be of assistance to you.
Seems we're having some technical difficulties seeing the video.
The Office of Placement and Career Services, paving the way for students to enjoy a secured future. With a dedicated, efficient, and committed team of workers and a host of volunteers, students' lives are transformed all year round. Forming part of its core objectives is the department's daily drive to facilitate the professional development of students. This it does by offering career guidance on a daily basis.
We get on average probably like 100 students per day. They have different requests and we try as best as possible to facilitate them and also to assist in whatever way that we can.
When I first came here, they were very warm and inviting and they assisted me. I thought that I had everything together, but then when they reviewed everything for me, I realized that I may have missed 1 or 2 documents, and right away they were the ones to print it for me and to have it be done right there, quick and easy, and I am so grateful for that.
So how is the Placement and Career Services unit designed to help each student? Each student, from freshman through to their senior years, can benefit from the variety of services offered by the Office of Placement and Career Services. Some of the unit's core functions include career guidance through a computerized career assessment tool, SIGI-3, and individual career counseling, ICC, career explorations opportunities, job readiness seminars, job search and job referrals assistance, internship coordination, cover letter advising and reviews, resume advising and reviews, job interview techniques, coaching through seminars and mock interviews, employment compensation package negotiation advising, and facilitating the overseas work and travel program by way of work and travel agencies and scholarship coordination.
A new seminar that we added is the employees' rights. So students are also exposed to the perspective of where they sit as new recruits and what their rights are and how they can defend themselves in terms of if an employer is not being fair in the recruitment process or even the hiring and promotion processes.
Students are able to liaise with industries and alumni to meet recruitment needs. Thousands of students have benefited from workshops, seminars, resume clinics, career expositions, and job fairs. Many of those who have been assisted by the Office of Placement and Career Services are now assisting others to benefit just as they did.
Well, I can speak from the testament of many students, like every student that has participated in the Growth and Purpose Sessions program has told me that they benefited in some way and they actually use information after graduation. So that's how valuable it is. So if you come, you will learn something that will probably help you to get a job. So I would encourage everyone, full endorsement of attending Placement and Career Services events.
How can you contact the Office of Placement and Career Services and benefit from the array of services being offered? Let's first provide you with the details on their physical location. They're located upstairs, the Graduate Studies and Research Unit at 20 Ring Road. You may visit them Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. or call 876-927-1650 or 876-927-1660, extensions 2224 or 2332. But that's not all. Feel free to check out their online portals. Visit their website at www.mona.uwi.edu/placement. There'll be live support online access waiting just for you. Also, connect with them via social media. Check them out on the following platforms: Instagram, UWI_placement, Twitter, @UWI Placement, Facebook, Placement and Career Services UWI Mona, @UWI PCS. The Office of Placement and Career Services. We're transforming lives and paving the way for a secured future. Be aware. Plan for your career.
So welcome to the University of the West Indies again, and we look forward to serving you at the Office of Placement and Careers. Enjoy your experience, and may your dreams come true. Be aware, plan your career.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tugwell. Be aware and mind your career, right? Because you're at the beginning of a sojourn that's going to lead you to great places. But, you know, if you're not yawning already, hopefully you're not, you're probably thinking, well, yes, you're hearing from all these old guys who are telling you how it's supposed to go. Well, let's open up the floor and let you hear from some of our past students as to where engineering can take you. So you can hear from people who have done this, walked this path 2-3 years ago and now are in industry and can relay their experiences to you. So first I'm going to welcome Mr. Jeremy Hall. He's an electronics engineering graduate, and right after him, I'm going to let Mr. Demali Cohen, who's a civil engineering graduate, just follow on. So Mr. Hall?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. First, let me apologize for the lack of video. I had to relocate during this session. Just to confirm, you can hear me clearly?
Yes, perfectly.
Good stuff. So guys, welcome to the beginning of your journey in engineering. As was mentioned, I'm an electronics engineering graduate. Would have been a part of the second batch of this program. So there are a lot of options here for electronics engineers and persons who are going to be studying electronics and power engineering. The first thing is you're going to be exposed to a wide array of fields, a wide array of disciplines, from general engineering principles, understanding the theory behind how all these things work, electronics, instrumentation, programming, telecommunications, electrical and power. You're going to be given a wide foundation in a variety of functions and services. A lot of the graduates from the program has ended up, we've ended up in many industries, telecommunications, utilities, instrumentation. Some persons have gone over fully to software development, facilities management. Some have remained in education, some in finance, working to support services there, HVAC, automation and IoT and renewable energy. And with a lot of the changes we're having, some of these industries are providing new opportunities. Some of us hear people complaining about the JPS bill. So we're seeing a lot more companies come up that's targeting renewable energy. And things like automation and IoT, whereas a few years ago it would have been distant things. It's now present in all our homes. People are buying smart lights and people need customized solutions for this. So there's a wide array of industries. People end up working right across the region. Some of your colleagues that would have graduated before or working in other countries in the Caribbean region. Given that it's ABET accredited, you have more flexibility and options to work in other markets based on the qualifications. Some of us may still be based in Jamaica, but because of the regional impact that the job roles or functions are working in, it ends up involving a lot of travel to these regions, working on these systems. So generally, as the options present themselves, the persons may stay and develop to become specialists in a particular area. As I mentioned before, you're learning a broad array of systems. You then need to, as you shape a career, specialize and study more in any particular area. When you've graduated, you're not an expert in anything. You're not a seasoned engineer working on any of these. But what you had is core foundation and building blocks for all of these. So some persons go on to become specialists for these systems, and we have specialists, for example, some of them in the batch the year before me and the year after, who are traveling to places in the US, in Europe, because they've probably chosen to specialize in an area that has few specialists, few key integral players there. Some of us work on maintenance, ensuring systems are working better. Others working systems design, systems development. Some of us progress to technology management. So there are all these potential areas for career advancement. Some of us go fully to entrepreneurship. There are a number of past engineers who have decided to focus on things like audio, electronics and audio, whether it is car audio, car systems, or they're supplementing the music industry, working with audio engineers, working with systems in homes. And entrepreneurs, they've started businesses related to some of the industries we mentioned before. Some have gone fully to development or even process automation in the home. And even with COVID, again, there are a number of opportunities that's likely to come up that we may be able to see options to provide solutions, not just here, but working remotely. Another thing for engineers is, at the end of the day, engineering is a way of thinking. You guys will be solving problems. And the truth is that way of thinking can be applied to other disciplines. So we've seen engineers progress even in the short space of time, within 4 years, progress to other careers, other disciplines, bringing along with them the experience from engineering. So some persons have progressed, for example, to technology management, and they've then made the leap from management specifically in relation to technology and moved instead to general management. Persons have become general managers, business managers, so they made that leap to general management. Persons have progressed all the way to senior management in some companies, C-suite management in some companies. And this is then incorporating persons who graduated from this program and persons who have studied before us in other engineering disciplines, but still to give you an idea of what's possible. Things like project management, again, in engineering, a lot of the things you do working on is projects and delivering these projects, working with persons, technicians, installers, procurement, working with a lot of these persons to bring a solution together. So there are persons who progress from necessarily technology-focused project management and have branched out to project management in general. Persons have moved even to direct other careers like finance. One of my colleagues, not from this program, but who's been an engineer and a specialist, an architect in for some time, and transitioned fully over to finance, has completed his CFAs and was able to land high-ranking positions in some of these investment houses. Because the way you learn to think, the way you learn to apply your knowledge to solve problems can become generic. And we have graduates that some have gone to the army, some have gone and studying to become pilots, aeronautics. So the options are there. All these options present themselves. Of course, academia is another option that a lot of persons choose to pursue. I know the Faculty of Engineering now boasts a number of graduate studies programs that persons can look at. Some of your graduates have gotten scholarships and gone on to the graduate studies in other markets, other jurisdictions, to get exposed to other systems, and they're able to bring back the knowledge here. So all these things are available to you guys. For me personally, I'm working in the telecommunications industry. I'm a manager of a technology function in that industry, specifically value-added network services in that industry. I head a team of engineers and senior engineers, and we have responsibility for delivering service across a number of markets in the Caribbean, and these guys have extended support for South Pacific markets and other Latin American markets. And my personal journey would have seen me leaving the program, eventually being a junior engineer somewhere in the telecommunications industry, working my way up, and then having the opportunity to demonstrate core competence or expertise in a particular area, and developing your expertise to the level that you're one of the best, not just in Jamaica, but regionally, and then you're able to progress. The thing with technology is, outside of a lot of disciplines, it's based on your work output. And it's something that's always changing. So as a young person, as an engineer who is going into some of these fields, it's possible for you to become very good at the new and emerging technologies. Even for some others, some of your counterparts who've been there for a while, that can't keep up. But at the end of the day, the technology is moving. If you can keep up, you can find a way to mark and make a name. So technology is one of the fields that you can actually see young people reaching the peak of their life in these disciplines without spending 30 years working it. And you can look at all the tech companies examples. And electronics engineering, the background, the foundation you learn opens up a lot of these opportunities. I'm actually proud to say I'm also a hiring manager, so recently we have been on a board taking in a number of students for some projects that we're working on. And I'm proud to say the graduates from the UWI engineering programs, they represented themselves well in comparison. I mean, I'm sure I have some amount of personal bias, but even the others who would have been a part of these panels, bringing the students, the graduates through workshops to try to select some of the best talent to put on our programs. We've found that persons who've gone through these programs by the University of West Indies, they tend to punch above their weight for peers. So you guys are part of a good program. The sky is the limit, and you can always try to get in touch with some of the persons. A number of us are part of the alumni, either through the faculty or Mona School of Engineering, who may have contacts with the alumni. You can reach out and we can probably have conversations so you guys can get more advice. But yes, guys, sky is the limit.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. I just wanted to follow on with Damali.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Can hear you perfectly, Damali.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Damali Cohen, and I would have graduated from this prestigious faculty, or back when I was here, it was the Mona School of Engineering. I should have been in 2017. I'm currently a design engineer at one of Jamaica's more prominent engineering firms. And where engineering can take you post Faculty of Engineering, to be exact, I want you to understand it's more than just a degree. They're training you to have a certain mindset or to think a certain way, to the point where people would literally just look for you just because you were trained here by some of the best in the country and in some cases of the world. But the bigger question as to where your degree can take you, it is, I want to understand that it's more than just thinking inside the box. So even though you have a degree in, say, civil engineering, it doesn't mean that you have to work in a civil engineering field, because I have friends who, as Jeremy would have said, they work in finance, they're project managers, they even end up working sometimes in telecommunications, so with a civil engineering degree. Because it's not just how you're trained, it's how you're trained to think. So you always have to think as an technical thinker, even though your degree would say otherwise. So I have a few colleagues as well, because Jeremy would have mentioned the alumni for the Faculty of Engineering. Well, I'm the president of said alumni. So I have a pretty good record of where engineering can take you after you leave here. So you have a couple of people who would have applied for their masters straight out of engineering, graduating. We also have a Chevening Scholar, and if you're unaware of what a Chevening Scholar is, it's one of the highest British Commission scholarships that they can get as a Jamaican resident to study abroad. So it's a full ride, everything is paid for, and we have one of those scholars from my year group. We also have some people who left from here to go straight to Duke University. That's where we're talking Ivy League school here, guys. So I want you guys to understand that it's more than just doing a degree or getting a piece of paper. It's building yourself and knowing that you are in demand the second you leave this faculty. And that's it from me. I think Jeremy said most of what I would have said anyway. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Damali. Thank you, Jeremy. I think there's a core theme going through there. One is that the education that you get here really positions you well for industry. And when I say industry, I don't only mean the engineering industry. An engineering undergraduate degree marries well with a lot of other postgraduate and undergraduate disciplines and the future careers. So it's not only, you're not setting stone to be an engineer for certain after you get this engineering degree. You can move on to other things successfully. You would probably notice that whenever you go on a civil engineering site, a construction site, you have to wear a hard hat, you have to wear a vest, you have to wear boots, right? These are things that are required because of safety, because you might step on an exposed piece of metal, you might hit your head on a piece of steel, and you need visibility for anybody to see you clearly, right? So those are all things that are part of occupational health and safety. That's an aspect that Mr. Raymond Dixon is going to come and talk to you about. He's our occupational health and safety representative. And there are occupational health and safety guidelines that have to be adhered to when you go in the lab eventually and when you do certain aspects of engineering. So, Mr. Dixon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, Raymond.
Okay. Now, occupational health and safety has taken on a new twist with COVID-19. COVID-19 has changed the game, and so we have to adapt everything that we do to the new situation. So, in order to remain safe, we've narrowed it down to 4 simple things. First, you need to learn to be safe. Second, keep safe. Third, put in preventative measures to ensure you're safe. And fourth, take care of yourself, self-care. So let's look at learning to be safe. As a student coming into an engineering program, you will be attending labs. Labs are an exciting place for you to learn. However, labs also place you in a situation where you can be exposed to hazards. As such, we have trained laboratory technologists who are trained to identify safety risks and how to ensure that you operate safely in the environment. So please follow the instructions of the lab staff, ask for help when you're in doubt, and know your COVID-19 symptoms. Understanding how COVID-19 impacts, let's look at it. Firstly, one of the main things is you experience tiredness, this fever, difficulty breathing, dry cough. If you experience any of these symptoms, seek medical attention. Call a doctor or another nursing practitioner and get some advice. Keeping safe. Obey signs and directions. Report all incidents, accidents to lab staff or administration. Practice good hygiene. I cannot emphasize that more. In this time of COVID, wash your hands, cough in your elbow, ensure your clothes are clean, and wear a mask in public. Now, hand washing, we all know, is one way of ensuring that we limit the spread of this virus. Another one is ensuring that we keep and maintain social distance. Please, social distancing is necessary to avoid the spread and restrict the spread of this virus. Try your best also to not touch your nose, eyes, and mouth, because these are receptors that can easily allow the virus into your body. Cover your mouth when you're coughing with a tissue and dispose of that in a bin. Seek medical attention if you develop any of the symptoms I outlined earlier. Also, follow the Ministry of Health guidelines. Third, in order to keep you safe, we have, as a faculty, put in place some rigorous safety measures. We'll be disinfecting high-use areas and surfaces regularly. We have a no masks, no entry policy for our building. We do temperature checks upon entry to the building. We require students to we require all entrants to wash or sanitize their hands on entry of the building. And we have taken this necessary step of having several of our staff trained in first aid so we can be first responders to anyone who needs help. We've also put in place an isolation and quarantine room that will ensure that if someone comes down with symptoms of the virus, we can isolate them safely and get the necessary help that they need while we protect other members of staff and our student population. Your health comes first. Your safety matters very highly to us. Without you, we do not exist. So we are putting all these things in place to ensure that you are safe. Fourthly, one other thing. How is this virus spread? It's spread from droplets directly from person to person or droplets onto surfaces. So please ensure that you're washing your hands regularly. And if you see somebody sneeze, take care of yourself and ensure that that person is wearing a mask. Okay, some other measures that you can take. Please, if you're not feeling well, stay at home, turn on your yard. If you have any of these symptoms, such as headache, slight fever, or runny nose, these can be precursors to the full-blown effects of the virus. So please stay home if you are feeling ill. If you need to go out, for example, to buy food, to do errands, whatever, please wear a mask, minimize your risk of being infected and infecting others. If you have difficulty breathing, seek medical advice immediately. Call your health care provider and inform them of any recent travel or contact with suspected cases. 4, self-care. This is the most important part of your arsenal in preventing and protecting yourself from contracting this virus. It makes no sense that you are at home sequestered and you're not exercising and taking care of yourself. So firstly, you need to have a program of exercise, having some fun. Ensure that you study, attend your classes online. Where when you go to class, when we resume face-to-face labs, you'll be doing some of that. You are young and you're young only once. So it's important that you make linkages, but you can do so safely online using your mobile devices and ensuring that you maintain social distancing until it becomes safe for you to do otherwise. Now, most importantly, talk about how you're feeling. Get help. We are here to assist you. We have trained counselors at the health center. And if you feel like you would rather want to talk to a faculty member or staff, we are also here to help you. And we will offer a listening ear and point you in the direction that you need to go. Now, last but most importantly, get help as quickly as you need it. Your well-being matters, and you matter more than everything else. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Raymond. Occupational health and safety is very important. I know I gave you guys credit at the beginning for being tech savvy, but I guarantee you our electronics department and our IT officer can show you a thing or two, or 3 or 4. So with that, Mr. Stefan Anderson is going to give you some tips about navigating the UA online interface. Stefan?
Thank you. Dr. McMorris, can you hear me? Could you just confirm, please?
Yes,
okay, all right. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Before I get started, I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate you all for your acceptance into the Faculty of Engineering. So let's get into what I have to discuss with you guys. All right, so firstly, I know you all must have a number of questions regarding online classes. One of those questions are the most important of all those questions would probably be, how do you all attend classes come next week or the following week? So as the faculty prepares to teach exclusively online for semester 1, there are some digital tools I just want to introduce you all to. The first is Zoom, and the other is ENG, which is our virtual learning environment. Now, as you would have heard in the program earlier, and our classes, our engineering classes will be taught using Zoom. Now, I I'm gonna ask you all just to take the time out to ensure that if you haven't installed Zoom on your device or devices, you can do so, because Zoom is gonna be the tool used. Now, it will be used in conjunction with ENG values, as I mentioned, is the Engineering Virtual Learning Environment. Now, all engineering course materials will be present on ENG value. Now, I just want to mention that for non-engineering courses, so for instance, your foundation course, those course contents will be accessible on OUR value. And we'll speak some more about that in a workshop/session that I'll be scheduling for next week, where we'll discuss further. Now, before I move on. So now, as I mentioned, ENG Valley, you all would have been added to the Engineering Virtual Learning Environment, and you would have all received an email sometime last week or the previous week. Now, you all are also enrolled in all your engineering courses that you have registered for on SAS up to this morning. And as you progress through the start and throughout the semester, you'll be given access to the other courses that you have registered so far into. Now, I just want to visit the website ENG Valley just to walk you through some important things to take note of. So come next week when classes start, once you're enrolled in a course and you click that course on ENG Valley, you'll be brought to a page looking somewhat of this sort, where the information for classes or the class sessions will be accessible, and it will have an icon looking like this sort, where you have that blue background with the camera icon. And once you click on that session, you'll be taken to a page looking something of this sort, where you'll have the option, or you'll be able to join that particular session. Once you hit join, then it will bring you straight into Zoom, where you'll be able to join that particular session for that course. So that's basically how it will look. And all courses, Zoom session will look similarly once a lecturer creates it in the respective courses. Now, let me go back to the presentation. Now, and I just want to point out before I move forward, it's 10 minutes, as you would have seen on the program. 10 minutes was allotted for this segment. I'm sure that you must be a bit concerned again, like, if we could go through all the necessary things that you need for online learning in 10 minutes. But as I mentioned earlier, we'll be having a much more detailed workshop come next week. I'll be sending out the details by ENG Valley, where we'll go through everything that you guys need to know. And if you have questions, we'll interact some more on Zoom. Now, I just want to make mention of some online resources that will become very important as you progress throughout the semester. The first here is the engineering stores. Of course, as the Dean would have mentioned in his presentation, the labs or the lab components of courses would more likely be postponed until semester 2. But I just want to mention it just in case you guys might be working on some projects or labs during the semester, and you may need to access like some components. The engineering stores is where you'd go on and you'd access those components, which is at stores.engvalley.com. A link to that is accessible on the engineering website. Also, for final year students doing the Capstone project, which Mr. Faulkner would have mentioned earlier on, you guys have a projects portal where you'll be able to access the projects that are submitted for students to select from. And that can be accessed via the website again, which is at projects.engvalley.com. And in terms of the Capstone projects, in which Mr. Faulkner would have, when it comes to that time, we would have probably explained the process and how it works. But just to give you a heads up, in terms of like for Capstone projects, when all the projects are listed on the projects website, there is an opening date, and of course there's a closing date. Once the opening date arrives, then students will be able to log on and select their project on a first come first basis situation. So in terms of civil engineering students, there are a number of equipment that we have in the engineering stores that is located on the top floor of the administrative building that engineering students normally use either in the lab or in field where students can, come and they can sign up. Ms. Tugwell would have mentioned earlier on the UE Library Discover Portal /UE link. This can be accessed by the ENGVLE website also, which I'll show you. So if you go to the home page, there are number blocks that are on the home page. The UE link is here. If you click the UE link logo here, you will bring it to that portal. Also, you can find the Ask a Librarian link where you can chat in real time with a library assistant. Let's go back here. And also, I just want to mention two of the engineering timetables, which are currently being updated and are accessible on the engineering website under the resources tab. So the faculty's website is at mona.uwi.edu/engineering. When you log on to that website, if you look under the resources tab, you will find the timetable. The timetables there. Once you hit that menu, you'll be taken to this page, and you'll see all the timetables for the respective programs, levels, semester. Take note of the last updated date, because from time to time during the semester, timetables are updated. And so I'm recommending that you guys access the timetables all the time via the website and not just download an actual version that have been there at a particular time. So let's go back here. All right, so as you progress through the semester, you will be required to utilize a number of engineering software, which of course, as you know, classes are online, and usually students will access these software in the labs, the various labs that we have, and the lab computers. But I just want to point out to you that these software are also available off campus to students. So the first on the list that I want to mention to you guys is AutoCAD, and of course, I think all programs would utilize that, if I'm not wrong. So there's a student version or the student edition for most AutoCAD products that are available. So students are able to log on to the Autodesk website where they can access student edition license to use these software. And we don't necessarily have to provide any sort of access or involvement in this. I mean, you can just log on to the Autodesk website and you can sign up as a student and fill out the respective questions. Next on the list is LabVIEW, mainly electronics, electrical power, biomedical students will be using this. The student edition of LabVIEW is available to all students, all the students I mentioned. The students can access the LabVIEW serial number within their respective course, lab course or course. So if you're doing a course and it requires LabVIEW, then you'll have access to install LabVIEW or to access the serial number to activate the LabVIEW software via that particular course. Next on the list is MATLAB. Students will be provided with access to a special license to use MATLAB via their courses on ENGVLE in a similar manner. We have the Microsoft Office. So the University of the West Indies Mona offers all students Microsoft Office for free. So you can access the Microsoft 365 products on your personal computers or devices. Instruction on installing these products can be found on the UE Mona MITS website. Multisim is the next on the list. Multisim used again by electronics, electrical power, and biomedical students. Similarly, the instructions for installing this software can be found in the courses on ENGVLE. Proteus is another one. Students will be provided with access to special cloud license to use Proteus software, and is accessible in the courses on ENGVLE. SAFE, specifically for civil engineering students. Students can download, install, and activate SAFE software via their course or courses on ENGVLE. And it's similar for ETABS. Now, I just want to mention a number, an avenue in which students can reach out in this time to the faculty for support. If they have queries, questions, etc. And the first that I have on the list here is the live chat option. So if you're home working, you join a class and and you had some issues or anything of the sort, and you want to reach out to the faculty, you can reach out via the live chat option, which the live chat option can be found on the faculty's website. So if you go to the faculty's website, go to the home page, if you scroll all the way down to the footer, you see an option to chat with to chat on the live chat support. If you click that, it will bring you right there. You'll be able to speak to someone from the Faculty of Engineering. Also, this is accessible on the Engineering Virtual Learning Environment under this block that says Faculty Support. If you hit the live chat, it will bring you just the same. And also, if you hit support.engvlu.com, it will direct you to that live chat support. The WhatsApp support is another option that students can utilize. The number is there. You can record it, 876-577-7133. ENGVLE support is also available to students. So from time to time, students may have issues, for instance, with access to course and other ENGVLE related issues. Students can reach out to the ENGVLE administrator via the messaging feature, or they can just email learning, or you guys can just email learning@engvle.com. In terms of that messaging feature that I mentioned, if you whenever you log on to ENGVLE, right, you will see a tab at the top here, or an icon, better yet. You're able to create new message, and you can contact the ENGVLE. You can, if you're not seeing in it, most of you by now should have received messages from ENGVLE administrator, which you can just click in and you can type a message. You can click on it, you can type a message, or you can email the learning@engvle.com if you so wish. I want you to also pay close attention, or whenever you log into ENGVLE, I want you to take note of this icon, as I mentioned, and at the top here, you can see this green background with zero, meaning zero messages. From time to time, if you receive messages on ENGVLE, it will give you a notification at the top here to show you that you have a new message. Once messages are sent out by ENGVLE, whether from lecturers or myself, you will get the message in ENGVLE, and you'll also receive a message in the email address associated with your ENGVLE account. Before I move on from that, I just want to also point out that with ENGVLE, students also have the ability to utilize or to access ENGVLE via either the Android app, which is the Moodle app, or via the Apple store, the App Store app, or the Moodle app in the App Store. So you can go ahead now. You can search for Moodle app. You can download it. There are some benefits of using the app to access ENGVLE. One of them being that you can access the course materials offline. So from time to time, students may like download course content on their laptop or whichever device, and they might view these PDF or whichever format the documents are in. With this app, you're able to download an entire course by the click of one button, and you can read the course materials offline. And whenever you're connected back to the internet, you will sync and you'll get all the latest contents. So that's one benefit. And of course, the live notification whenever you get messages and so forth, and reminders about due dates, like for assignments, etc. The email option is another method that students can use to reach out to the faculty, and the faculty email is engineering@uwimona.edu.jm. You can also dial the main telephone line, which is 876-927-1640. Also, you can, for IT related issues or any IT related matters, you can reach out to myself, Stefan Anderson, at stefan.anderson@uwimona.edu.jm. Also, I want to make mention of our Faculty of Engineering social media pages, which Dr. Omar Thomas would have mentioned earlier. For updates on like latest news, events, and happenings in the faculty, you can access such at the Facebook page at UWI-Mona Engineering, or the Instagram page UWI-Mona Engineering again, or on Twitter at Mona Engineering. And for information on programs and other faculty-related information, you can visit the website, as I mentioned earlier on, which is at mona.ue.edu/engineering. Any questions? And before, I just want to point out again that this is just an overview, and we will have a more in-depth workshop come next week, where I'll be sending out the email shortly to all of you, where we'll be able to join on a Zoom session, which will be more interactive, where you can ask me questions. I mean, we can have a jolly time.
All right, thanks, Stefan, for that definitive proof that we have some technological game up on the students and we can offer them good insight. And I say that as a joke, of course. We have Mr. Niall Anderson, who wants to just formalize his introduction of his colleagues to you. We get to understand that his picture stream was halted at the time. So, Mr. Anderson, can you go ahead?
All right, so go ahead. So President Niall Anderson, Vice President of External Affairs, Donoy Hartley, Vice President of Internal Affairs, Ms. Ashley McPherson, the External Affairs Chairperson, Ms. Rihanna Murray, the CEAC, Cultural and Entertainment Affairs Chairperson 1, Mr. Elvis Ovara Francis, the Secretary, Ms. Kai Clark, the next CAC, Ms. Alexandra Myrie, and then the PRO, Public Relations Officer, Ms. Alia Wilson. The PCC, Publications Committee Chairperson, Mr. Kyle Williams. The female GCC, Ms. Deandra Holness. The Treasurer, Ms. Geraldine Fraser. The male GCC, Ms. Okino Donaldson. The Electronics Representative, Ms. Jadid Prasad. The Biomedical Representative, Ms. Callista Wollaston. The Civil Discipline Representative, Ms. Ariana Martin. The Deputy Representative for Biomedical Engineering, Mr. Kimani Anderson. The third year Biomedical Class Representative, Aisha Hewitt. The Discipline Representative for Electronics Deputy, Mr. Nicholas Dean, and of course a few other committee members listed here. Deputy PCC Ebony Smith, Graphic Designer Oziel Anderson, Creative Advisor Shamar Suarez, and second year Acting Class Rep Martinia Bailey. Big up to all of them, and hope some of you will also join the committee in the coming recruitment calls. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Anderson. All right, so you would have gotten a proper introduction to all the necessary staff that are involved in the effort of giving you a proper engineering education. We have touched on several things that provide information and insight into your registration process, into your initialization as undergraduate students. We know that it's a lot of information all at once. So, appendix to that, we're going to have several breakout sessions that will, describe civil engineering programs, electronics programs. You'll be advised as such. There'll be other things that Stefan also alluded to for breakout sessions for IT. There'll be special registration events that begin immediately after this Zoom meeting and continue into next week. So there are several things there. You begin a journey in engineering here now, and I'm sort of biased to civil engineering. That's why you heard that Freudian slip. But you begin a journey in engineering ever since you had your interest in physics and math. And it has brought you here to the university where you rightly belong. And to continue that journey on this engineering path, you will go on to, so it will require a few things. And I'm going to just summarize it under a four-pronged approach. So on this journey, you'll require initiative on your part, right? To, make sure you go to the library, you use the resources, make sure, you ask your lecturers questions, make sure you give feedback to the university system so that you can improve our offering to you. You're going to have to become very conversant with the technology. So that's a second prong of the approach, right? In terms of discoursing with us, in terms of submitting assignments, registration, all of that is sort of forced upon us now. We encourage you to look forward to your career as a third aspect of this four-pronged approach, right? Keep that in mind where you want to go. There are several tools that are available to you to keep you going along that path, even though it's sort of 3+ years down the road. And finally, we want to always make sure that your ethics are in place and your well-being is at the center of your approach to your education journey. So keep yourself in good health, eat right, get your sleep well, not really, but this is engineering, right? But eat right, stay healthy, use the resources that we have, and have a good journey with us. We welcome you to the Faculty of Engineering. So with that, I'm going to begin to close this session. If anyone doesn't have any questions or additional comments, and we will move into assistance with registration. Nicholas Williams from Registration Information Systems will guide you through the process that they're going to offer.
Okay, yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the new students to the University of the West Indies. My name is Nicholas Williams, and I am from the Registry Information Systems, which is a department within the registry at the university campus. So what we're going to go through today is the registration process. So it's a very integral process that you have to know because students have to do this by themselves each year. And so let's get to it. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I am from the Registry Information Systems, RIS, and we're going to focus today on the key areas within the registration process. I'm going to touch on the ID processing and the health card processing, as well as those are also under our portfolio in the Registry Information Systems unit. All right, so the Registry Information Systems, what we really do, we just administer the enterprise system that facilitates registry business processes, and this includes the system that we call SAS, or the Student Administration Registration Systems, and also there's an ID processing that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so there are four key areas of registration. The first is obtaining registration information. So before you actually go and conduct your registration, there's some information that you have to get, and I'll go through that in the later slides. And the second thing, after you get the information, you have to go through course selection of courses, and this is primarily done on the system, on the computerized system that we set up. We call it SAS. The third thing, after you select your courses, you have to verify that these courses are registered. So you have to check your registration status. After all that is done, then payment of fees and financial clearance. You have to take care of all of that. Okay, so obtaining registration information. So where do you get this information from? First of all, there's usually a general student orientation at the university, and that is where you can get integral information from. And also the different faculties usually give orientation information, which includes information like the courses that you're expected to register for. So if you don't know the courses that you want to register for, it makes no sense that you come to register. So you have to take care of that first. And we usually call this academic advising. So you have to go through academic advising before you register. And then the fourth part of it, which is online, I'm going to go to the online guidelines of how you navigate the system and register. I'm going to play a video at the end of this presentation. So yeah, so just stick around for that. All right, course selection. To do your course selection, you would have to go to the SAS website, and it is at that URL right here, if you can see it, www.mona.ue.edu, and then you go to the current students tab. Then you go to register for courses, and then student administration system. Once you go there, you click on, there's a link that says enter secure area, and you click on that link, and then you'll see the page come up where you would put in your login information, which would be your password and your username and your password. Your username is usually your student identification number, your student ID number, and your password is usually your date of birth in a particular order, which I will go through in a slide. No, I'll go through it in the presentation that I'm going to play for you guys. All right, so after you enter the system, you would need to add the courses. So you'd use the look up to classes. You'd use look up to classes to add or drop options to select courses for the current term. After you have added your courses, sometimes based on restrictions that are placed on courses, you would have to request overrides for those overrides to be approved by your faculty, which in this case is the Faculty of Engineering. After you have requested your overrides and finished with your course selection and all, you can view your registration status. You can view your registration status and also your financial clearance page from the student menu. Okay, sometimes when you try to log into the system, it does not let you in because your password needs resetting for whatever reason it is. So you would have to contact MITS, which is the Mona Information Technology Services, and their numbers are on screen right now. And you can also get them on the live chat available from the SAS logon page as well, right above where you would log in, where you put your username and your password. And also there's a WhatsApp that you can contact them by. So the information is on screen right now. You can take it down and take a note of it. All right. All right, so some points to note. It is very important that you register early. And this is important because there are points when late registration penalties is started to be applied to the student's account if you don't register within a certain period, and usually start off at like $1,000 to gain access to the system to register. So register early, and also once you're registering, it is also important that you select all components of a course that you're adding or you're dropping. And when I said all components of a course, for example, a course would carry a lecture, a tutorial, a lab, or a seminar. And all those components are tied to the one course, and you cannot register if you don't select all of them. Sometimes a course will only carry the lecture, and that's fine, and sometimes a lecture and a tutorial, but look at the registration page and select all that applies to that course to register. Otherwise, you're going to get an error, link course error. So also make sure that when you're selecting courses, you select courses that are within your campus. So we're at the Mona campus, and on the registration page, it is illustrated which campus each course is for. So usually for Mona, it's a M. For Western Jamaican campus, it would be a W. So make sure you choose the one that is relevant to your campus, or else you'll also get an error. All right. As I said earlier, once you request the overrides for whatever restrictions that are put on the courses, the faculty would approve those overrides. But this is also not guaranteed. The faculty can also choose to decline the override. I implore you, again, once you do your registration and choose your courses, to check your registration status and your financial clearance page frequently so that you can know the status of your student account. You know? Also, registration of a course is registration for the examination. So if you are not registered on the system, you will not be admitted to exams when the exam come around. So even though you attend classes all semester and you take notes and you do all the assignment, if you're not registered for the course, you will not be admitted to the exam. You understand? Okay. Registration, this is a summary of the key registration areas. So number one, obtain registration information. So you have to attend your general student orientation, as I said earlier, and academic advising. Number two, selection of courses. The courses are selected online, and if necessary, request your override to complete your course selection. Number three, verify that the courses are registered. Very important. Number four, payment of fees, financial clearance. Make sure that is sorted out because that impacts registration as well. All right. Okay, on to ID processing. ID processing is usually covered once you pay your commitment fee or your miscellaneous fee for the cost of the ID. And once you pay your commitment fee or your miscellaneous fee, you just present that receipt at the HR department on campus. And even if you don't have the receipt, they can verify the payment and they will take your picture ID, and usually you get the ID the same time. Same day, same time you take the picture, you get your ID. Health cards. Once again, once you pay your miscellaneous fee, it is automatic that the request for the health card is automatically triggered once you pay miscellaneous fees. And then the health insurance provider sends the card to the Mona campus, and you can pick it up at the HR department, usually within 5 business days. Each new student will get a new health card, but returning student will keep their old card and they will be updated electronically. So you update the system, but you keep your old card. All right, so this is the contact information from my office, the registry information system. That is the email. If you have any queries, you can always email us at that email address, and that's the straight line number for us. We're situated on the first floor of the Assembly Hall building. I know that we're mostly working remotely now, but whenever things become regularized, that is where you'd find us, on the first floor of the Assembly Hall building. And that's the end of this presentation. And as I said earlier, I will be playing a video that will be going through the steps that you go through as a student when you are registering. So can you play that video for me now?
Hello and welcome, or welcome back to the University of the West Indies Mona campus. This is a video tutorial on how to register for courses. We begin at the university's homepage, www.uymona.edu.jm. Once there, scroll to the Current Students tab. To the right of the screen, select Student Administrative System, SAS for short, and you will be taken to the SAS website. Select Enter Secure Area and enter your student ID number and password. For first-time students, your password is your date of birth in the format year, month, day. 4 digits for the year, 2 for the month, and 2 for the day. If this password doesn't work, please contact the Mona Information Technology Services or MITS to have your password reset. They can be contacted via email at helpdesk@uemona.edu.jm and via WhatsApp at 876-499-2291. After entering your student ID number and password, select Login, and you will be taken to the notification page with the registration status agreement. After you have selected I agree and continue, you will be taken to the main menu. Once at the main menu, select the Student Services link. On the Student Services main page, select the registration link. On the registration main page, select Look Up Classes to add. You will then be asked to select the term. Now, it is important that you choose the correct term or you may not be able to proceed with registration or find the courses you're looking for. So go ahead and click the arrow to the right under Search by Term, and a drop-down menu with various terms will be displayed. As this is the academic year 2020-2021 Semester 1, go ahead and select it, then click Submit. Now, select a subject area from the drop-down menu and click Course Search. The subject area is the first 4 letters of the course code. Now, all courses for that subject area being offered for the semester selected will be listed. Click View Sections for the course you wish to select, and all sections of that course will be displayed. Courses are made up of various components, and students are required to register for lectures, tutorials, labs, and any other schedule types where applicable. For example, Lit 1001 has a lecture and a tutorial component. Students registering for this course must therefore register for both sections of the course. These streams must be selected and registered at the same time. Be sure to find out from your department if a course has more than one schedule type. You will also notice that this page displays information such as the course code, the section name, the campus the section is attached to, the credit weight, the course title, the days and times that classes are held, the section capacity or quota, the current enrollment, number of available spaces, the instructor's name, the teaching dates, the location, and attributes. Now, on to course selection. Choose the sections you wish to register for by clicking the box next to the course, then clicking Add to Worksheet. The 5-digit CRN will then appear in the tabs on the Add Classes worksheet. To select another course, click the Class Search tab on the Add Classes worksheet and search by subject area. When the CRNs for all sections have been successfully added to the worksheet, click Submit Changes. You can also add a course to your registration immediately by clicking Register after clicking the box beside the course, as long as you have selected all the course components. After clicking Submit Changes or Register, whichever you decide, the courses should, if added successfully, appear as web registered on your current schedule. It is important to note that we have increased the online course offering this semester, so there are instances where a course will be offered entirely online or have components that are online. You may search if a course is offered online by using the Advanced Search feature. On the Class Search page, where the Subject Area drop-down menu appears, select Advanced Search instead of Course Search. You should then select the subject area from the menu and type in the course number below. Select the instructional method and any other criteria you wish, then click Section Search. Add the course to your registration by clicking the box next to the course, then selecting Add to Worksheet or Register. You can also check if a section is offered online by viewing the location column on the Look Up Classes to Add page. Courses that have not been added successfully will appear under Registration Add Errors on the current schedule page. Registration add errors occur when course criteria have not been satisfied. Before such courses can be added to the record, you must receive permission from the faculty by requesting a course override. When a registration add error occurs, you can either select another course or request an override. Students can request an override for some types of errors. See SAS homepage, Online Registration Guidelines, page 4. After receiving a registration add error, click on the Request Override link on the Add Drop page. Select the course from the drop-down list. Only courses that you have previously tried to select that day will appear in the list. You may type Message to Faculty in the space provided. This is optional. Click Submit. You can view your complete registration by clicking the Registration Status and Financial Clearance link on the registration page. Courses that have been fully registered will appear in blue, and those for which overrides have been requested and the decision is pending will appear in red. Please bear in mind that courses that appear in red have not been added to your record and only will be once they have been approved. To check if the override request has been processed, select the Request for Course Error Overrides link from the registration menu. You can view the decision at the bottom of the page in the Permit/Override column. Pending requests are listed at the top of the page. Once the approval has been granted, the course will be added to your registration record. See SAS homepage, Online Registration Guidelines, page 5. Should you wish to delete an override request, go to the registration menu. Select Add Drop Classes, then at the bottom of the page, click the Request Override link. On this page, you will see the course for which you have requested an override. In the Action column, click the arrow to the right and a drop-down menu will be displayed. Select Delete, then at the bottom of the page, Submit Request. It's important to note that the request can only be deleted if it has not been actioned. Should you wish to drop a course, go to Registration menu, then select the Add Drop Classes link. Select Web Drop in the Action column next to the course that is to be dropped, making sure to select all applicable components. Now click Submit Changes. You can now navigate to the Registration and Financial Clearance page to have a complete picture of your registration.
Okay, so that video is also available on the SAS page when students go to log in, so they can check all the information there again. So that's it from me. Yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you for that. Hopefully that seemed to be useful if you were able to follow it through. But again, we'll be providing several supplementary instances of registration assistance. There is contact information, and I once again just guide you to the resources that have been provided that can assist you with anything you didn't digest today in this session. All right, so with that, if no one has any more questions or comments or anything they want to add, I'm going to look to close the session. So we welcome you to the University of the West Indies. Welcome to the Faculty of Engineering. We'll see you in earnest on Monday morning.